So my name is Philipp Brokamp, and I run a brew pub in Berlin-Friedrichshain since 2008. So we have our 15th anniversary this year. And here we are at the second brew house in Friedrichsfelde. And we work here since 8 years because the place gets a bit too small in the pub to brew the whole beer. We still brew there also, but we have here a bit more space, it's a bit more comfortable. So we decided to do a second place for brewing also. If we only brew in the brew pub, it's only for us, and I can't say, here for a party or another pub we can't deliver because the amount was too low. And now we don't sell a lot of bottles or stuff, but we can deliver some pubs. And that, of course, it's good to have a bit more capacity to sell also, but definitely, So I think we are also a bit famous for traditional style beers. So in the beginning we started only with 2-3 different beers like Pilsner, and then we call it Bernstein, it's an amber lager, a very dark lager, what is more black beer really, roasty flavor, and wheat beer. And after 1-2 years, it was also interesting to try it, of course, a lot with different yeasts, with different hops, especially from the US also. So from 3 taps, we grow to 8-9 taps. It's not so much for the US, I think, but we have at the moment, we have always 8 different beers on taps plus a cider we also do ourselves. And but 4 of these taps always changes. So we are, I think, typical for in my opinion, of course, good traditional beers, but also new style trials. We have always also IPAs, pale ales, what I try at the moment. I prefer pale ales, like typical American pale ales, really, because English pale ales are not even or not often dry hopped, and you have the citrus flavor from these special US hops like Mosaic Citra and Simcoe Amarillo, what I really like. So we use for pale ales and IPAs very often more the American style ones. Our main goal, or my main goal, was always to run an own brew pub. So that's the main goal, and not to spread a lot, to be bigger and bigger, to have a wide range of bottle delivery, for example. So I am, of course, a bit proud that the pub is running since 15 years now, and I'm always happy to be there and to see the pub works, and that was the original idea. And also in the future, I think I'm happy not to go more bigger. Of course, here maybe to expand a bit, to have an easy work, for example. So we produce in the year around 1,000 to 1,200 hectoliters. So in the pub it's maybe 700 around. So it's much more in delivery compared to 8 years ago, definitely. But that's fine, and I think this. If someone says it's also in the next 3 years like this, I'm happy. We search for much more space, also for storage and stuff. empty kegs, and it was all a bit difficult in the brew pub to store everything, and the work here is much easier. We search for one hole and not to have downstairs, upstairs and things like this. We have it in the pub. Yeah. So you do a lot of stairs the whole day, and if you see here, because it's jacket-cooled tanks, and then it's possible not to have a cooling house around it. Yeah. So that makes the work for fermentation, for maturation and stuff, it makes it much more easier than we do in the pub, where the fermentation tanks are in a cooling room. You have to put it out to clean, and so it's a bit easier. And the reason why we were here was quite funny, because we searched for more space, and a friend of mine who was also a good guest in the bar, and we sit there and I told him the story. He says, oh, exactly, I exactly bought the right place for you to brew there. So I know him before, and he bought this whole building here. Wow. It was very in the beginning, nothing was done, so no floor, no water, no wastewater, nothing. Yeah. No electricity, only one cable in the front of the...
So you had to build this from the ground?
Yes, yeah. But it was the perfect place also for the square meters, so we have here around 300 square meters to brew. Was perfect for our amount of beer we brew. And I could make a good deal with the friend, because we built up from the ground, and then he says we have to pay not so much rent. And for me, if I look back 8 years ago, it was a very good decision to do it. Brewing journey began in 1996 when I started my apprenticeship in Bavaria. Okay. So I did at a middle-sized brewery, but much more. So of course in selling bottles and stuff, up to studying brewing technology and working for also middle class to a bit bigger brewing companies also. Okay. But I have always in my bag maybe to do my own thing. So. And the reason why I was in Berlin was first I studied here, and then the girlfriend who had a good job also in Berlin and doesn't want to move. So, and you can't get jobs at another brewery at this time, because the big companies were in the decision to centralize their production. To go back to Berlin, and the only thing was to do the own thing. And good time for this then also, because not many breweries exist at this time. Yeah. There were some bigger ones, the traditional like Bavaria, you have one hell and maybe a dark and a wheat. But the small scale really pub brewery was quite new. Not very new, but in this scale was not so much. Yeah. Also the districts like Friedrichshain, where I did it, Prenzlauer Berg, Kreuzberg, there were only 2. And now we have only in Friedrichshain we have around 5 to 6. So it expands.
How much it's...
Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, if someone will tell me in 5 years, you produce the same amount and you can do the thing like exactly now, I'm happy, of course. If 1 or 2 or 3 pubs ask for the beer and we have to expand a bit, we have a bit more space, so we can put some more fermenters and stuff, so we can expand a bit, but only to deliver in a small scale in the future, and then I'm happy. I want to keep it. I see the bottle delivery also in the supermarkets. I think it's a very hard business because you can't guarantee, especially in the summer, it's not cooled. That's in the US, I think it's much better.
Yeah, but the climate's changing too.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're in February and it's much warmer in February than it normally would be.
And summer is also sometimes 35 degrees and stuff. So, and to stand there with 5 or 6 other Berlin breweries in a bottle with a not much, what is called profit scale.
Yeah, profit margin,
Profit margin, I think. I'm happy to see that we have a lot of guests also still living in the neighborhood or not far away, compared to many more tourists compared to 15 years ago, especially during weekends. And we see that it's good running with a combination of the traditional style beers. So special days we know 5 guys are coming at exactly 6 and you can tap directly 5 Pilsners, for example. That's fine. Is it different
between the locals and the tourists completely, or?
Not completely. We have also locals that only orders IPAs, for example. So, but locals are a bit more in the traditional styles, I would say.